Hello, good morning. We are going to present our topic, which is introducing systemic solutions for sustainability at the design courses in UAM Coajimalpa. UAM Coajimalpa is the university where we both taught this course, which is a study case based in book club in Mexico City. The purpose of this topic, of this talk, is to reflect on the multidisciplinary approach and on the systemic intervention as key aspects to articulate and to guide what is called integral design, or the way we call design in our university, which is not industrial design, graphic design, or other kind of design with a last name. It's just integral design, it's just design towards a sustainability approach. So normally in Mexico, it has been traditionally seen that at university, or not only in academic approach, but also in the professional life, design is always or very linked with last name or a specific approach. So normally graphic design approaches to graphic problems, and then it solves through graphic products, for example. Or the same way in industrial design, it focuses in industrial problems, etc., etc. And this way in UAM Coajimalpa, in our university, our degree is in design. It's just global design. So it doesn't have like a disciplinary closed approach, it's just design. And this way, we, in this case, we were analyzing how to approach through a systemic view, how to approach these problems, and then how to link it to a multidisciplinary view in order to have solutions that were systemic as well. Products and services, not only products or services or graphic solutions, but a very systemic solutions with the addition of products and services. This way, this is a diagram where we can see how this systemic approach was understood, or we wanted to apply in our course, in which the study case is the book club. We are going to talk to you about it in a few moments. And this systemic approach tries to see the problems in its complexity, like the complex of the context. And then a systemic approach of the classroom work. It was also very important how the classroom dynamic was working, and also systemic solutions with products and services. So this is the way our course was. It's the schematic of the course in UAM Coajimalpa. At the end of the trimesters, at almost the end of the degree, of the bachelor degree, we have 3 trimesters. So it's divided in 3 phases. It's called Proyecto Terminal Project. So it's a 1-year-long course in which students in 3 trimesters, they approach to this project. Terminal 1, they mainly focuses in doing a big research, in having a deep understanding of the context of the problem, and then to define the design problem. Then in Terminal 2, they start to explore some design solutions, some alternative, and then some proposals, and they start doing some prototypes, and they start some evaluation with users. And then in Terminal 3, they try to continue this evaluation phase in a more iterative process.
Thank you very much. What are book clubs in Mexico City? Well, there are spaces for reading, public spaces, autonomous of the government, that act very locally, devoted to the people at the neighborhood. You don't need any identification to take a book home, because they know everybody around and they trust you. So if you don't return the book, they may tell your mother. besides of its function of a small library, they carry out all kind of community and cultural activities. Anyone can open a new book club in any space. Homes, factories, unions, hospitals, institutions, squares, gardens, and even in prisons. Okay, what was behind our intentions? Why do we encourage ourselves to undertake this project? Well, we believe that through design, we could strengthen the book club so that they could multiply, and that if book club network was consolidated, they will be less exposed to government changes. Okay. If we look at the evolution of book clubs in the past 20 years, we could see that when government supported them, they multiplied rapidly, but when the support ceased, they disappeared dramatically. Okay. No, that's okay. The first results of our investigations showed us that the book clubs using books were splendid spaces for the well-being of the community. But there are only 100 left that have very little relationship between them, and the so-called book club network doesn't exist. So they are very vulnerable to government changes. Okay. For a start, we asked ourselves a general question about design, which will trigger particular answers for the case of the book clubs in Mexico City. So how can design intervention contribute to the promotion of reading, which is also a vehicle for social welfare? In the methodology approach, we began investigating in three different areas: the socio-cultural context, the awareness of reading, and also the book clubs themselves and their network. We learned about the state of the reading in Mexico. We read and discussed Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, but above all, we approached to the book clubs and their people to know them better and find what motivates them and identify the metaphor that best describes the book clubs among the users. But to deepen, the lens tools were very useful.
So in this methodology that we used throughout the terminal project, we also approach through the lens methodology the integration of a sustainability perspective. So the way we approach was first to visualize how a systemic and interdisciplinary view or perspective could be assessed, and it was through the design of sustainable service product systems. This way, the students wouldn't only focus in one particular problem isolated from the rest. On the contrary, they would be connected in a more systemic way with a sustainability lens, so that they could understand what the social, economic, and environmental aspects were behind that. This is showing how the students work mostly unified in a very collaborative way, even though they were grouped in teams and they were focusing in some particular problems. They were commonly and very frequently working together because it was the same complex system. So there were no individual problems, they were all connected. And also we had some sessions with the real book club users and the responsible of some of them. And for example, some of the things we focused to make the evaluation of the results were not only related with the design objects, for example, functionality, materials, cost, aesthetics, but also we had to evaluate, for example, based on the interactions that promote, as well as its sustainable dimension, the main social, economic, and environmental factors and impacts. For that, we used some lens tools, for example, so that we could evaluate how was the social, economic, and environmental aspects approached. And also, as part of the general system, in the contribution it makes to the solution of the complex phenomenon. What was the real contribution? And using another tool, this is the system map. We could map, and this was like how the students approach and what was the connection among the actors, their relationships, their actions, where were the users. For example, in this case, we had in the past some support from the government through the culture secretary, and this way we could Ministry of Culture, and this way the students decided to put this this ministry outside because it was not completely involved in the system, but we could also see where the users were, and according to the solutions the students gave. For example, we can see here in a more clear diagram, these are the teams and what they were proposing and how they connected among them. For example, one of them were proposing more according to products, or others among more about services, etc., and how they were all together related.
Well, we also tried the systemic approach in the classroom, encouraging the 5 student teams to work together and to collaborate. So the different outputs integrated a system to interact with each other. And now we will see in the next images the designed products, which can stand alone, but when combined, increase the possibilities as a system. Matilti, its graphic identity, slogan, and dissemination materials as a graphic template that could be downloaded, adapted, and reproduced. Painani is a website that mainly promotes the relationship between book clubs and contributes to the formation of the network. Wakali is a modular box made of MDF wood, which can be used as a chair, a table, a bookcase, or a container for transport books. Ixua is a card that, when opened, generates spaces to exhibit books and carry out cultural or community activities, and encourages the book clubs to have outdoors activities. And finally, a pavilion, Tesili, it's a pavilion made of plastic fabric that can house temporary outdoor book clubs and attend public that doesn't usually approach to indoor book clubs.
So about the outcomes or the results, we could identify that there was provided a system that articulates products and services and encourages services. Also, to attend, we identified that it was important to attend important needs of the book clubs as spaces and also of the network as an organization, and that if it was implemented, the network would be strengthened as a citizen instance, autonomous from the government. That was a very important issue, that it had to be autonomous from the government, because we didn't know when the government was going to pause the support, as they already saw, and to increase its possibilities for sustainability.